Cookster here. In this video, we're going to be applying seam sealer to the cab areas that I have yet to seal. The drip rail, you might be able to see this blue tint in the drip rail. I've already seam sealed the drip rail. I'll show you that in a moment. We also have to apply more seam sealer to the areas of the cowl, some here in the pillars, the roof, the A-pillars, around the cowl, some areas that I haven't been able to seal yet, so we've got to seal those as well. I think there's a seam in the back of the cab I got to seal, so we're just going to be applying seam sealer. Okay, this is the seam sealer, obviously in the drip rail. It's I've sealed all the way around the drip rail to the in the level areas. This is called a self-leveling seam sealer. It's made by Fusor. It's a 122 EZ is the part number. Self-leveling. Basically, it means you put it in the gap and it levels itself out, just like it says. It's really good stuff. It's expensive. It's gotten hard to find. The last 2 or 3 times I bought it, well, 3 I guess now, I've had to buy it off of eBay. Amazon doesn't seem to carry it. If it does, I can't seem to find it. So anyway, I bought it off of eBay. If you got a local jobber, you know, a paint store jobber, I'm sure they can probably get it or have it. But anyway, it's good stuff. Like I said, it's expensive. You use one of the, I call them the fancy caulking guns. I don't have it over here with me, or I'd show it to you. But you use dual cartridge guns that, you know, all the epoxy type sealers have to have. Anyway, I already sealed it. So basically, as I said, self-leveling. You put it in, and the trick with this stuff is, I had to learn my lesson on my Ford. I kind of put, when I sealed the drip rail in my Ford, I put too much of it. I got it way too thick. I did it and it worked, but I got it thick. The trick with this one, I filmed it if you can see it. You know, I went in there and I put a bead around the front, the gap. That's the gap where the water is, where the water needs to be watertight. And I put another bead in to kind of fill the bridge, you know, the width of the drip rail. And I put one more bead. Basically, it took 3 beads to kind of get this thing filled. But it's not overfilled. It's definitely not filled all the way to the top. You can see the edge of the drip rail. I don't want to put my finger in there. It's still wet. But there's definitely an 1/8 of an inch or so of area of drip rail that's not, you know, full. You don't need to fill this thing, you know, way to the top, but if you did, you have a bridge, you know, over here 1 inch wide, and the factory sure didn't do it that way. So I think I've done a pretty good job on it this time. So with it being self-leveling, what you can't do, you can't run it downhill. So I had to make some tape dams right here, and so basically it stops right here. I'll have to take a heavy-based seam sealer and seal up the back of the drip rail, which I'm not ready to do yet. I haven't primed and blocked all that yet. But the front drip rail, around to the other side, and the same. Basically, I did run out about halfway in the other drip rail. I knew I wasn't going to have enough, and I ran out, so I had to order another tube. Alright guys, since I'm up here, I got to finish sealing this drip rail where I ran out of sealer. So obviously I got a new tube. There's the Fusor 122 I was telling you about. What happened when I ran out, this area up here towards the front, which you can't see, it's not thick enough. I got a little dam about right here where I stopped. It's actually the right thickness. I know you can't see that, but I'm trying to zoom in. What I'm going to try to do, what I'm going to try to show, the way I do this, I put the first pass in right up next to the drip rail. I want to make sure it gets a good bond to the drip rail. And then in this one I had to put and then in this one I had to put 3 total passes. One against the drip rail, one down the center, and then kind of one more to help level it out. This stuff starts to level out just about as fast as you put it in there, so you can watch it level down and see what it's doing. So once I get the backside done, I gotta go up here and add a little more across the front, which you won't be able to see. But anyway, I hope you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. So here we go. Alright, here we go. Slow and steady wins the race. Oops, I wasn't paying attention. So when I'm going to stop at the moment about right here. That's where I already sealed at, and then we'll put another. I'm raised up now. I'm actually letting the sealer go up and kind of fall down in there. And it's going to gain its own level. Like I said, it's auto leveling, or not auto leveling, self leveling. And then we'll stop here. You got to watch, you know, just like all the other kind of sealers, the tube still oozes out some, so if you don't want to make a mess, you kind of got to watch what you're doing. Now you really can't see it, but there's still a gap right here against the back side. Well, you can't see it where it's not good and full. So I'm going to put one more pass in there, kind of towards the back, and it should lay it right in there when it levels out. You don't want to put too much in here and get the drip rail too thick, which is one problem I had on my Ford when I did it. I overdid the Ford. Alright, now I can see it. It's nice and level. It's right up under the body line, which is where I want it. I think you can probably see it. But let me finish up through here first. Maybe I'll move the camera and show you, but for now I gotta finish this. Oh, this stuff's gonna set up on me too. And being that I've already done this, it won't take near as much to fill this in, I'm sure. Alright, there's my dam where I stopped. Put one more little pass in here. And it should level itself right on out. May need to add a little more. Let me look at it for a minute and watch what it's doing. Looks like I need to add just a little more up here at the front. Yeah, let me add just a little more. I'm going to probably wind up adding too much, but it needs a little more, so here we go. Just a little bit more. So I better stop right there. That looks pretty good. So another $4.50 applicator in the trash. Alright, let me get cleaned up here. I'll get the camera moved around and I'll show you what we did up close. Okay, here's a close-up view. See how we're up there next to the edge of the drip rail? You can see, like I said, the few air bubbles I'm talking about. Not sure why that happens, if I'm just not putting it on quite right. Now you can see what's happened here. This is, I put my dam back where the curve starts to go down. So what's happened here, it's flowed out here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's flowed out because this is going downhill. I should have put my dam further up. I'll just take a razor blade or something and trim that back. Probably make it look alright. The other side, I had it further forward. I got greedy over here and sloppy. I should have put it further forward. Anyhow, so you can see down in here where it's, you know, leveled up, and then here is where I ran out the first time. So I just kind of applied it over the top, and it blended right together. Little seam right here. Let me touch it. It's still not quite dry. Little seam right there, but I probably could go grab some lacquer thinner and smooth that down. But anyway, there's my drip rail from another angle. My sealer, I mean, on the drip rail, all the way around. So there we go. The other areas I had to seal, I got to seal around the windshield. This is a factory seam. I want to finish filling this seam where I couldn't finish it before because I had to do work here when I sealed all this. I may or may not seal this hole here. That's rust where I didn't repair put a patch in. I just didn't. I probably will wind up sealing this right here, so that way when water comes down, it'll get in here and just run out. I've sealed all this down through here. I showed before all the sealer I put lots of sealer all back up in here. Sealed all this. Anyway, I got a couple of rust pinholes I didn't weld up, and that's just because I just didn't do it. They're down in the windshield channel. Seam sealer will definitely fill those up. This is never going to be seen. It's going to be under the windshield. Same thing with a couple of rust pinholes right here. This was in a bad place to weld up. It would have blown out, and I'd have been grinding and welding for days. So I just didn't do that. I just didn't. So I'll put a little seam sealer in there, and nobody but me will ever know what's in there. So anyway, these couple spots on each side, like I said, down in here, over here, same thing on the other side. And then I've also got to seal this body seam right here, which I'm not ready to do yet. I got to finish blocking this back panel as well. So I may or may not tack it on to the end of this video. I probably won't. I might not. But just know it has to be done. Of course, the back of the drip rail, like I said, this will be done with a heavy bodied sealer. So I'll show the so I'll run the camera. So I'll run the camera a few minutes while I do this, and then I won't show all of it because there's really no need to. Oh, I also want to seal up under here inside the door jamb. I'm probably going to go across the top and put a little bit of sealer by with my finger joint just around the front here. There's a few spots in here. It looks like it when I put the drip rail in, and you can't see it. Could have used just a little bit to make damn sure this drip rail is watertight. So I might do that. I might not. Again, probably won't show it on camera. These seams are under here. I think had sealer on them. I don't remember. I might seal these. I might not. This is the bottom of the drip rail. Water shouldn't be coming through. I think these were sealed up by the factory, so I probably will seal these. This one I'm not sure about. I'm not sure. All right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to put seam sealer in these seams that need to be sealed up. For these seams, I'm using, this is another two-part SEM product. Medium bodied seam sealer. The number is 39377. You're backwards in the camera, I think. It's an epoxy two-part seam sealer. I like this stuff. Back in the old days, in my old body shop days, we used the one part. Just I forget what it was called, what it was made of. But anyway, the two-part stuff, it seals up, it dries up hard. Not rock hard. It's still a little bit pliable. But anyway, I like this stuff. It's good stuff. Now the trick with this, and the way I do it, and there may be some people that frown on it, I use a little bit of lacquer thinner. And I don't wear gloves. Don't yell at me. I don't like wearing gloves. I've never done it, and I'm not going to. So just forget about the glove thing. So I put the sealer in the seam, and put a little lacquer thinner on my fingertip, and smooth it down. Now the trick is not to use too much lacquer thinner. If you get too much thinner, this stuff won't set up right. Ask me how I know. Just a little bit, just enough to kind of smooth the seam down. The other trick with it is I tape the edges off. I like to get these nice clean edges on exterior seams, which most of these are, especially the one around the back, which I'll try and show. But if you don't, when you blend it down with your finger, the edges are not straight, and I really don't like that. So, and I learned this. A lot of people do this, so it's not just me. But you have to pull the tape at the right time. If you pull it too early, it hadn't set up yet, and you get strings and stuff. If you pull it too late, stuff's basically dried and it's hard as hell to get off. You pull it just right and it'll come off. It's sort of like when you're painting a car or painting a house. You pull the tape just at the right time, you get a nice, good tape line. This is the same way. So it does make it kind of difficult when you do it in a bunch of little small sections, because you kind of get ahead of yourself and forget where you are. Especially as hot as it is. This stuff kicks in about 15 minutes. It has one of these auto mix nozzles. That's what the green color thing inside. It's got chambers. If you had a real one, you could see it. Little chambers inside. I don't know if you can see this. See the little chambers inside? This is how it mixes itself. And this stuff kicks in about 15 minutes. And once it dries, it's dry. This nozzle's trash. You're throwing it away. That's one of the things I don't like about this, being that I'm a thrifty type person. We use that word, thrifty. You throw these things away. So I don't like that. I guess I could try putting it in a bucket of lacquer thinner, but it wouldn't work. But anyway, so you have to manage how you're doing this stuff. And once these things kick, you're done. So it can be challenging to do a lot of small areas especially. But anyway, all right, that's the thing about this stuff. Once I start mixing it, there ain't no stopping and taking a break. You got to do it. This stuff is, like I said, going to kick. So let me go ahead and let's see. I got a rag, I got a brush, I got lacquer thinner. I'm ready, good to go. So let me show you You can see it working down in there, and it's going through here and mixing this two-part, down in here. So let me get over here where I'm actually working, so I can see what I'm doing. And the timer's off and running now. And this is upside down. This is not heavy bodied sealer, so it's kind of having a hard time, and it's upside down seam, so you may wind up fighting that. I really put too much, but like I said, it's a struggle to do this. Smoking like it, right? It's hard to dig. Yeah, I gotta redo this. This one's upside down. It's difficult. I got all these, just about all these are upside down too. That just makes it that much more not fun. These are all exterior. That makes it a whole lot more difficult to do. Now they gotta look good. I'm gonna cross my fingers on that one. That one, it needs work, but ain't much more I can do to it. Just gonna keep making it worse. Maybe I can fix it with a lacquer thinner, and we'll see when I get close enough. It's too early to do a lacquer thinner trick now. It ain't set up enough yet. Alright, I got one right up under here that you can't see, but oh well. I can't move the camera. I can't all the time, so we're just gonna go with it. Stuff's already setting up in the tube. It don't take long. Anyway, I'm not going to show doing the rest of this. That's done. It's a damn mess. So when I get it done, maybe I'll show you the end results. It's good stuff. I like it. It's just a pain in the ass to use. When I was doing this, it was 85 degrees. And this stuff set in about 10 minutes or less. And once it sets in this applicator, this tube, you're done. And these things are expensive. So I only did like 2 or 3 of these areas right over here, and then I had to throw this away. I went through about 3 of these things, maybe 4. I don't remember now. I got aggravated and quit actually. Just doing these small areas here. Anyhow, so I got aggravated. I had to quit. I got aggravated at it. I was getting frustrated. It was hot. I was tired. So I just basically had to stop, which is hard for me to do. Anybody that knows me, that's difficult to do. So what I've already done, this seam here, again, this seam, it shows. So I put masking tape on both sides of this seam, sealed it up, used lacquer thinner. So I sealed that seam. There's these 2 seams under here. I don't remember if they were sealed from the factory, but they definitely are open. They'll get water in there, so I sealed them. This seam here, I'm not going to seal. Maybe I should, but I'm almost certain it had no sealer on it from the factory. Now, as I sit here and say that, maybe I will seal it. I don't know. But I'm not going to seal it right now. Anyway, I sealed those 2. I sealed that one. There's the other thing on the other seam on the other side, same deal. Sealed that one, and then of course these 2 under here. As I said, sealing all those seams, I used about 3 or 4 of them damn mixing tubes just to get that done, because the stuff kept setting up on me so fast. Got really aggravating. I also finished sealing this seam here in the cowl that I couldn't finish this when I originally sealed all this, because I still had welding and painting and all, grinding and stuff to do. So I sealed that up. So in the back, this is the seam I'm talking about that gets the sealer that you want to look really nice. This is exposed. You're going to see it after it's painted. So I use masking tape to give me two clean edges. So I'm just going to come along and I'm going to try to seal it one long run, and then come back immediately with lacquer thinner and start dressing it down. If you let this stuff start to sit, you can catch it where it just starts to kick, and you can work it. But as soon as it starts to kick, that's what happened to me over here. And I got aggravated at it, as I said. It started to kick over here, and I couldn't smooth it down. I got these 2 little, can't really see. There's damn it. There's build up, actually a proud corners in both of these on both sides. I couldn't do anything about it. Once it started to kick, lacquer thinner, nothing would touch it. So either if I want to fix it, which I'm not, I'd have to get in here with a grinder or something, or sander and sand it down. And it's very minimal. I mean, when I'm going to prime over this anyway, one more time, and then sand it. Oh, I've sealed these 2 seams here. You got this seam. Damn it! You got this seam here and the same seam on the other side. I also seal those. So what I'm doing today, the seam in the back of the roof, back here at the back, where the 2 seams come together, the roof panel and the rear panel, that seam gets seam sealed. Say that fast 3 times. So that's what I'm about to do. I'm going to move the camera around, and I'll actually film doing that. Walk you through it. Anyway, one thing about this stuff, the way I do it, I put tape. You'll see I put tape line in the back. That's to give me a nice straight edge on both sides. That seam shows. It's right out in the open where everybody can see it. So you want it to have really good clean edges. So I use masking tape. I'll show you in a minute. And then I put the sealer in as little as I can without. You want to have enough. And I'll take my finger and dip lacquer thinner and run it down and smooth it out. No, I don't wear a glove. I don't like wearing gloves doing stuff like this. I wear gloves for some things, but I just like using my finger. It works better. You can fuss at me if you want. If you want to wear a glove and do it, by all means do it. I don't, because I just like doing it on the finger this way. Just how I do it. Anyway, I'll move the camera around. I'll show you how I'm doing it, and hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. And if I do it right, I won't come up with it. If I do it right, And if I do it right, I won't end up with a damn mess. It'll look pretty good. So hold on. I hope I make this in one shot without it hardening up on me, because if it does, I'm gonna have a hard time fixing that seam in the middle. Joint rather. So, here we go. Slow and steady. And don't overdo it. And I'm already making a mess, so I'm counting on my tape and lacquer thinner to save me, so it should. Let's see. We'll have to turn around in a moment to the other side, this side, you know what I mean. Alright, let me go ahead and turn around. Of course I'm backwards now, so I just got to deal with it, because I'm right-handed. Alright, now I gotta start working this stuff down and hope that I can make it look decent. So I'll get you a couple extra rags to wipe off excess on, and lacquer thinner and all that stuff, and let's see what we can do here. I just want to try to make one pass first and start the initial smoothing of it. But like I said, when this stuff starts to kick, you basically are out of time. And it's starting to kick a little bit. What was in that tube, I went and sealed a couple of small seams. Well, that tube already had 5 or 6 minutes on it when I started this. And I told you this stuff sets quick. And I wasn't exaggerating. Alright, there's my first go. I got the biggest, roughest part of it off. Now I'm just going to keep refining it. See, over here, it's already setting. I can tell. And I'm trying not to use too much lacquer thinner, because if you use too much, this sealer won't set right. I learned that on the Ford. So I'm hoping when I pull this off, if I do it right, when I pull this off, I'll have a nice straight line. It'll be good and straight and good and smooth. Just talking about tape, I would not recommend doing this with that blue, the blue house painter's tape. It's like this. This is painter's tape, obviously. I don't believe that blue tape will handle a lacquer thinner. It might. You're welcome to try it if you want on a test piece. I don't do it. I know I've got lacquer thinner. I mean, I've got painter's tape, so that's what I always use. Because it'll definitely handle a lacquer thinner. Now, I apologize you can't see up close what I'm doing, but you get the idea. See, if I had a glove on, I wouldn't be able to get this nice, I got a very small contour down in that seam. If I had a glove on, I just couldn't do it. I mean, you can fuss me about not wearing a glove if you want. I'm not. So that's the end of that. If you can do it with a glove on, you're afraid of lacquer thinner or whatever, you know, fine. You do you. You know what I'm saying? Alright. I believe I got it where I want it. I'm gonna take one more little pass here. It looks really good actually. It looks this good when I pull the tape. I'll be happy. It's definitely setting up. Oh yeah. It's about time to pull the tape. You don't want to leave. You don't want to pull the tape. In case you're wondering, my applicator is setting up now, so it's no good anymore. So anyway, you want to pull the tape kind of where it's at now. If you wait till it's completely dry, like happened to me on these under the door seams, it's too late. And this is just like when you're pulling tape from tape off a paint job. Pull away. So the bottom side, I'll pull away. The top one, you know, pull away from where you're pulling tape from. And let's go easy. And I've definitely got a little bit of a seam there I got to work. An edge. Up here looks pretty good so far. And again, I apologize you can't see up close, but you get the idea. We got a couple. Let me pull the top side. I got a place right there still thick. I got to work that down. Try to in just a minute. Let me see if I can work this high spot now. It may be too late. It's where it's a little bit thick, so it's sticking up a little bit above the edge. If I have to sand on it some to knock that down, I can. I don't like doing it, but I may have to. Because yes, I do prime on top of this and block it one time. I don't really block it to block the sealer down or anything, just to give it a nice edge, or not edge, a nice finish. You know what I'm trying to say. If you don't, then I'm sorry, I'm not doing a very good job explaining. Okay, here we are. This is the little area right here where it's a little high on the edge, which I don't like. But I'll take some sandpaper and kind of knock that down, and when I prime it and block over it, that'll more or less hide it. I don't like it, but it just happened. The edge is a little bit ragged right through here. I put it on a little thick. I should have thinned it on down some more when I was rubbing it down with my finger, but I didn't. So, but up through here, the rest of the way across, nice, some nice tight seam. Because I'm not sure how good you can see it, but it's a nice clean seam here. As I said, when I rub it with my finger, I'm getting the curved part of my finger down in here and digging it out just a little bit, so it's got a very slight channel to it, which is the way I like to do it. Anyway, that's a nice joint. All right, that's it for the seam sealer video. I wish I had shot some better footage when I was putting the gray on, but I got aggravated. It was hot out here. Stuff was setting up really fast. I was chasing it from hardening up on me too quick. I wasted 4 of those nozzle ends doing that. It's the small, slow stuff. It's tedious and it's slow, and I just got aggravated and I didn't film a lot of it. So I wish I'd had better footage, but I didn't. The footage I shot of the drip rail I think was pretty good. So I hope anybody that's trying to do this can learn a little bit from what I did and what I didn't do and the mistakes I made. Overall, it turned out pretty good. It's still going to look good after I get it painted. Nobody but me is ever going to know it. It's just I'm picky by nature, and I criticize. I'm very critical of everything I do myself. So to the folks that are sticking around and new folks coming in, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I hope you like what you're seeing. I hope you're learning something. Hope I'm not too boring. I'm trying to be a little bit entertaining. I'm a class clown kind of by nature, so I do, I make corny jokes, and anyway, everybody has their shtick, and that's kind of mine. So anyway, thanks for being here. Hope do all the YouTube stuff, to like, comment, subscribe, tell your buddies, your enemies, your friends, wives, all that good stuff, and I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now, you hear? Bye-bye.